Welcome to One Chapter, One Thought. I'm Pastor Chris from Lincroft Bible Church in New Jersey. Every weekday, I read one chapter of the New Testament and offer one brief devotional thought. Today's reading is from the book of Revelation, chapter 17. Then one of the seven angels who had the seven bowls came and said to me, "Come, I will show you the judgment of the great prostitute, who is seated on many waters, with whom the kings of the earth have committed sexual immorality, and with the wine of those whose sexual immorality the dwellers of the earth have become drunk." And he carried me away in the spirit into a wilderness, and I saw a woman sitting on a scarlet beast that was full of blasphemous names, and had 7 heads and 10 horns. The woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet, and adorned with gold and jewels and pearls, holding in her hand a golden cup full of abominations and the impurities of her sexual immorality. And on her forehead was written a name of mystery, Babylon the Great, mother of prostitutes and of earth's abominations. And I saw the woman drunk with the blood of the saints and the blood of the martyrs of Jesus. When I saw her, I marveled greatly. But the angel said to me, "Why do you marvel? I will tell you the mystery of the woman, and of the beast with 7 heads and 10 horns that carries her. The beast that you saw was and is not and is about to rise from the bottomless pit and go to destruction. And the dwellers on earth whose name have not been written in the book of life from the foundation of the world will marvel to see the beast, because it is and is not and is to come. This calls for a mind with wisdom. The 7 heads are 7 mountains on which the woman is seated. They are also 7 kings, 5 of whom have fallen. One is, and the other has not yet come. And when he does come, he must remain only a little while. As for the beast that was and is not, it is an 8th, but it belongs to the 7th, and it goes to destruction. And the 10 horns that you saw are 10 kings who have not yet received royal power, but they are to receive authority as kings for 1 hour together with the beast. These are of one mind. They hand over their power and authority to the beast. They will make war on the Lamb, and the Lamb will conquer them, for he is Lord of lords and King of kings, and those with him are called and chosen and faithful. And the angel said to me, "The waters that you saw, where the prostitute is seated, are peoples and multitudes and nations and languages. And the 10 horns that you saw, they and the beast will hate the prostitute. They will make her desolate and naked, and will devour her flesh, and burn her up with fire. For God has put it in their hearts to carry out his purpose by being of one mind and handing over their royal power to the beast, until the words of God are fulfilled. And the woman that you saw is the great city that has dominion over the kings of the earth." One thought. John sees another vision, this time of a great prostitute who is sitting over oceans, and this prostitute is called Babylon. Now, again, to properly understand this chapter, we need to know our Old Testament. So in the Old Testament, Babylon, the literal historical empire of Babylon, was the supreme example of the oppressor of God's people. So in 586 BC, Babylon came in and exiled the people. They destroyed Jerusalem and, burned the city with fire, burned the temple, burned the walls down, and, they just carried all the people off into exile. That's where the book of Daniel opens, Daniel getting carried off into exile. And so Babylon, naturally, you could imagine then this real empire, though it became a symbol. It became a symbol of any opposition to God's people. It had power, it had wealth, and so Babylon then becomes this symbol of like an idolatrous seductress. We see strands of this thinking in Isaiah 47 and Jeremiah 51. And so, these Old Testament prophets, they see the empire adorned with wealth, prostitution with the nations. It's a source of idolatry. And so now John, he's not thinking, of the literal empire here of Babylon, but he's thinking that Babylon has now expanded really into this worldly system that is opposed to God, right? It is the value system of the world, no matter what country, no matter what culture, that glorifies pride, that encourages idolatry or worshiping things other than God, that there's economic exploitation, the rich taking advantage of the poor, and sexual immorality, no regard for marriage or God's design for sexuality. Does that sound familiar? Right? These things can be present in any culture. And so we see that Babylon is at work in our own day. We see that there's the seduction of wealth and luxury for us. There's the lure of consumerism, um, and comfort in our culture, like Babylon's golden cup. And too often in our culture we equate worth with how much people are making, what they're wearing, their possessions, and we become blind to spiritual realities. There is so much idolatry and false worship in our culture today. We place things like our own success, our individual autonomy, political ideologies, sexual fulfillment, all above God. And, there's rampant sexual immorality, whether it's internet pornography or other things like that. Um, a love and honoring of marriage is not widely embraced in our culture. And so, as believers, we are to live like Daniel. We are to live in exile. We are to still remain in the culture. We can't isolate ourselves from these things because this is where we live, but we are to remain unstained by the world. We are to come out and be separate spiritually, and with our values. We are to be a counterculture. A subculture looks very different on the outside of a culture. It's like a niche culture within a larger culture. But the value systems largely are the same, beholden to the same broader values. But a counterculture, instead, outwardly may look very similar to the broader culture, but its value systems are radically different. We are to be a counterculture in Christ. We may look very similar to our neighbors, but we live drastically different lives because we are beholden to Christ.